In a context of war, it might be difficult to perform any modifications that may be required to a person's new home or new workplace, so that those environments are enabling, especially for the person with vision impairment.
And because of the war in Ukraine, we faced new difficulties and challenges.
In result, we developed a really helpful application that can help these guys in their everyday lives. And I think this is the most important thing.
Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Euro-Atlantic course. I'm your host, Varvara Shmygalova. In today's episode, we'd like to remind our viewers of the incredible challenges faced by those who are blind or visually impaired. Imagine waking up every day to a world of darkness, where the colors of the sunrise and the faces of the loved ones are forever out of reach. Imagine the constant fear of accidents, of not being able to see the obstacles in your path, or never being able to fully experience the beauty of the world around you. These are the struggles faced by so many people who, despite their challenges, strive to live their life to the fullest. They are the heroes who inspire us through their courage and determination. Today, we will talk about blind people and how they can live a more comfortable life with our help and with the help of new technology. If you want to learn more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our videos in the future. To start, please welcome Ariane Laplante-Lévesque, HWO Europe Technical Specialist for Eye and Ear Care. She will provide us with an understanding what issues people with visual impairments face in their everyday life and how these people are affected by the war.
Hello, my name is Ariane Laplante-Lévesque. I am the technical specialist in eye and vision care, as well as ear and hearing care at the World Health Organization Regional Office for Europe. I would like to start by describing some of the issues that people with vision impairment may face. Firstly, it's important to say that the level of functioning of a person with visual impairment depends on their environment. People with visual impairment may function very well in some environments, in their home, at the workplace, or on streets that are accessible. But the same people might experience limitations if needing to move to an environment that's not enabling. So we can take the example of environments that are cluttered, or that have uneven floors, or that don't have good lighting. Those are difficult to navigate in for everybody, and especially for people with visual impairment. In a context of war, it might be difficult to perform any modifications that may be required to a person's new home or new workplace, so that those environments are enabling, especially for the person with vision impairment. Many people with visual impairment, they benefit greatly from what we call assistive technology. Assistive products available for people with vision impairment, those include glasses, braille readers, and white canes. There's also many apps that are designed specifically to help people with vision impairment. So, for example, some of them can scan and read aloud text that has just been scanned. Those products, those enable people to see, to read, and to navigate the world around them in a way that's safe as well as independently. There was a representative population-based household survey that was conducted in Ukraine in the first half of 2021. It identified that 60% of the population report some vision difficulties. Many of those difficulties are refractive errors. That's like myopia and presbyopia, where the eye is not able to focus well on objects that are either far away or close by, respectively. Refractive errors, they can be quickly and very cheaply treated with eyeglasses. In fact, there's 40% of the people living in Ukraine that were surveyed in 2021 who reported using eyeglasses. 10% of the people surveyed in 2021, they reported a lot of difficulty or a complete inability to see. In some cases of vision impairment, interventions such as surgery or assistive technology are recommended. Assistive technology like glasses, magnifiers, braille readers, and white canes. People affected by the war, they might have their assistive products damaged, and repair parts or related services might be difficult to access. or if they fled across borders, or if they're internally displaced, they might not have had the opportunity to take their assistive products with them. So that leads to them not being able to be as independent as they otherwise could if they had access to their assistive technology. People with visual impairment in a context of war may have limited access to screening, to evaluation, to surgery, and to rehabilitation services due to an overall disruption in health services. The availability of the healthcare workforce that specializes on vision services might also be reduced. For example, some of the workforce might have moved or might be redeployed. Access to cataract surgery, which is an easy and cost-effective intervention to reduce visual impairment, as an example, might be reduced when health services are disrupted due to war. Routine access to care for non-communicable diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure is also important to prevent eye diseases, such as, for example, diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and age-related macular degeneration. And again, access to those services might be impacted by the war. Also, when we talk about vision impairment, it's important to remember that in a context of war, eye injuries are all too common, both among civilians as well as the military personnel. Those must be addressed early in the emergency humanitarian response so that eye injuries that are treatable, they're properly attended in order to then avoid chronic health conditions. In Ukraine, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education and Science, and the Ministry of Social Policy provide assistive products for individuals who are blind or who have low vision. There's also several international organizations and national volunteers that are supporting people with disabilities, including people with vision impairment. Issues related to disabilities in humanitarian action, they're led by a technical working group called Age and Disability. It's a forum under the Ukraine Protection Cluster. And in this forum, organizations that are providing disability-specific services and also organizations who wish for their services to be inclusive of people with disability, they convene regularly to coordinate their needs, the services coverage, the gaps, and the advocacy efforts.
For a moment, imagine you're putting yourself in the shoes of a blind person. You can even try blindfolding yourself and spending a few hours in your apartment. You will quickly realize the difficulties people with blindness face every day, from navigating unfamiliar spaces to simply finding everyday items. Our next speaker, experiencing visual impairment, stayed in Ukraine despite the war and air raid sirens, which happens up to several times a day sometimes. And she's prepared to tell us about her everyday life. Please hear from Orislava Nagornyuk, Chief Specialist of the Department for the Protection of Cultural Heritage of the Ministry of the Culture of Ukraine. She's prepared to share the struggles blind people in Ukraine experience on a daily basis.
When I wake up, I see darkness. Also, earlier I could see everything. It was very scary to lose sight because I didn't understand what would happen next. When I just lost my sight, I had problems with everything. Simple everyday tasks became a problem for me. Gradually, I was able to adjust my life and adapt to the surrounding world with modern tools and applications. But because of the war in Ukraine, we faced new difficulties and challenges. Difficulty navigating unfamiliar spaces. Blind individuals may struggle to navigate unfamiliar buildings or evacuation routes without the use of visual cues. Lack of accessibility. Many emergency evacuation routes may not be equipped with accessible features such as braille signs or audible cues, which can make it difficult for blind individuals to locate exit or emergency meeting points. Difficulty communicating. Blind individuals may have difficulty communicating with emergency respondents or other individuals during an evacuation, which can further complicate the evacuation process. Lack of assistance. Blind individuals may have difficulty finding someone to assist them during an evacuation, which can make the process even more difficult. Limited mobility. Blind individuals may have limited mobility or may use assistive devices such as a cane or guide dog, which can slow down the evacuation process and make it more difficult for them to keep up with others. Fear of disorientation. Due to a lack of visual cues, blind individuals may experience fear of disorientation at not knowing where they are headed during an evacuation, which can cause additional stress. This can make it difficult for them to stay informed about the emergency and take appropriate actions to stay safe.
We also want to tell you about people who cannot wait on the sideline when someone requires help. And there are many different ways to help. We'd like to bring to your attention Ukrainian IT specialists who came together to develop much needed application for blind people. The project is run on personal funding and leisure time. Those specialists remained in Ukraine, and despite the war, they found the strength to make good deeds. So please welcome Igor Zakutinsky, Ukrainian IT developer. He will talk about how technology is truly changing the lives of blind people.
Hi everyone, my name is Igor Zakutinsky. I am Ukrainian developer. And today I would like to talk about blind and visually impaired people, and also about modern technologies in their lives. So today we can very often hear that such people have a lot of problems, limitations, disabilities. And I think that this is not quite the right definition. We just understand that these guys haven't problems, limitations, and disabilities. These guys just have another life, different life. Also, we can very often hear that modern technologies can change our lives. And in this case, in case with blind and visually impaired people, is really true, because more than 70% of the information we received through the eyes. And if technology can change this missing part, if technology can change this missing part of sensory perception, it really can change lives for such people. And this is why technology is so important for blind and visually impaired. We need to understand that technology should be a part of the everyday tools. It can be mobile applications, desktop tools, any tablet tools, and something like this. Today we already have a lot of applications and tools for the blind. And for example, Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is a powerful mobile application which can connect blind people and volunteers, which can help and describe what they can see on the camera. This application is really popular, and it's like a social network for the blind people. Also, another part of tools and applications is tools which used artificial intelligence and neural networks for text and object recognitions. And today I would like to pay attention for an assistant for blind and low visual people developed in Ukraine by Ukrainian developers. It's called My Eyes. My Eyes is designed to help identify and recognize any object, faces, colors, and text. The user just need to point the phone camera, click button, and then application will recognize everything. Today, it is essentially a charitable project, which is founded by Ukrainian developers. And also it is completely free. and is already used by more than 100,000 users. But the most important thing, it was created with and contributed by blind people. In the first stage, there were a lot of suggestions, clarifications, and many other advices from children from boarding school number 5 in Kiev. Also, a lot of users around the world became project volunteers. Many of them helped with advice, translations, application testing, and in result, we developed a really helpful application that can help these guys in their everyday lives. And I think this is the most important thing, because such people are ready to give all attention, because it helps them and other guys and other blind and visually impaired guys to make their lives better, more interesting, and happier. And I think these guys is really heroes for me. And our team is really proud that we are a part of this wonderful initiative.
We can do more in this matter. We can be more thoughtful, more compassionate, more understanding. We can work to make our world more accessible for the visually impaired. We can be their eyes, help them to navigate through the world that too often forgets about them. Everyone deserves to live life to the fullest. You've been watching a special project by Ukraine Media Center and Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukrainian Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Slava Ukraini!